Number of signatures required are a combination of both signatures. At the approval of payment by the village board, each check shall be signed by the mayor and the clerk. We have a $500,000 check signed by Mayor Tiffany Henry. Y'all wonder why we worried about the money? This is why we worried about the money. $561,000 check with one signature on there. It's a problem.
One of the biggest issues with the city girl mayor of Dalton, Illinois, besides her horrible, disrespectful attitude, is her reckless spending. This woman spends taxpayers' money like it's her own.
They do spend money like water, just being real.
Yet she's blocking employees who don't support her from getting raises, even if their direct supervisor and the board of trustees approved it.
People are walking on eggshells, so to speak. They're afraid to have an opinion about anything or to fulfill their duties.
Which was the reason why the deputy clerk originally filed the lawsuit before the city girl mayor came back and had the police harass her and illegally fired her, when the Pork Chop mayor had no authority to fire this woman appointed by another elected official.
Come on, Pastor, we gotta wrap this up. And we gotta escort you out. Get your coat and stuff.
She signed nearly $150,000 for a 2023 Chevy Tahoe without any permission. She's spending thousands on personal field trips to Selma, Alabama, where she's more interested in the development of Alabama than the people of Dalton, Illinois.
I'm all about the movement and the progress of developing areas such as Selma, Alabama.
Spent $22,000 just to walk across the bridge with Andrew Holmes, who was also a problem. Don't worry, we'll get to him sooner than later. If you want to catch up on those videos, the links are below. But this pork chop hog mog boss hog mayor is certainly out of control. She's obviously going to keep spending until the village is left completely destroyed, while the Cook County State Attorney, Kim Fox, she hasn't done anything about this at all. We're going to get into that $500,000 check and what you can do to help. But first, take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Click the notification bell for all updates. If you're watching from Cook County, doesn't matter if you're in Dalton or not, I definitely want to hear from you. Drop Cook County below in the comments. The super city girl mayor managed to spin the village into a $5 million deficit from doing stuff like this. She wrote a check for over $561,000 without permission, and the board of trustees didn't find out about the expense until after the check was cashed. No money, especially $561,000, over $500,000, should be spent without anybody knowing about it. On top of that, 2 signatures were required for that check. But guess who signed for it? Mayor Pork Chop signed for it herself. No other signature at all. $561,000.
Just for the record, and the reason I guess I want all of the citizens to know why we're so adamant about this budget and what's going on. May 12, 2021, a resolution was passed. The following persons are hereby authorized to be added as signatories for all city accounts: Mayor Tiffany Henry, Village Clerk Allison Key. Any prior signatories or individuals authorized and hereby removed from the accounts, prior authorization is revoked. Number of signatures required are a combination of both signatures. At the approval of payment by the village board, each check shall be signed by the mayor and the clerk. We have a $500,000 check signed by Mayor Tiffany Henry. Y'all wonder why we worried about the money? This is why we worried about the money. $561,000 check with one signature on there. It's a problem. That means that money is being spent, and after we don't find out till after the check's been cashed. That's why we up here complaining about it.
Shout out to Trustee Belcher. Trustee Belcher is all about transparency, all about accountability, and she is simply doing her job as a trustee. No one person is supposed to have the power to write checks in a public office for over $500,000. Nobody is supposed to have that much power, which is why 2 signatures are required. And this is what you call checks and balances. Now, Trustee Belcher and Trustee House, in real life, they have financial experience as CFOs, so they know all about financial audits. They know all about checks and balances. This city girl mayor does not. She's walking around acting like she's Scarface. Shout out to all the board of trustees holding her accountable. Trustee Norwood, Trustee Brown, Belcher, and House. These are the adults in the room, and the super city girl mayor is more like the 40-year-old, 2-year-old who's throwing temper tantrums and destroying the place. So who was this $561,000 check written out to? It was written out in April of 2022 to a construction group called K5 Construction. This company is responsible for a lot of the concrete work in the village of Dalton, like paving sidewalks. But here's another thing. The mayor can never do anything for the, quote, people without doing something for herself. So one of the first things she did was get her driveway paved. Before she became mayor, she reported that she still lived at her mom's house. And that was a project at the top of her list for taxpayers to pay for. Her own house, or to be exact, her own mom's house.
Whatever, I do what I want.
We're talking about Dalton, Illinois, population about 20,000 people. For years, you had Dalton residents begging to have their streets repaired. Look at this. And Mayor Teflon Tahoe's first year in office, you know what she did? She made sure that her streets leading up to where she was living, all of that got repaved using taxpayers' dollars. It was moves like this that allegedly got Tiffany Teflon Tahoe removed from the bank account by a judge. She was spending money like crazy, and she still is.
They do spend money like water, just being real.
But after a while, she was placed back on the bank account. Then recently, after she was exposed for that $150,000 Chevy Tahoe, she locked all of the trustees out of the system so they could no longer see what she's spending money on. We'll get into that in another video, but she retaliated against the board of trustees by totally kicking them out from being able to see the money that she's spending right now. Once again, overstepping boundaries and covering up her illegal activities. And this is why Mayor Porkchop changed her Facebook bio from Super Mayor
to
the most powerful woman in the Southland of Chicago.
So I will give my stance just so that I'm stating it again, and I will state this at every board meeting. If we have money for all these other items, we should have money to pay those individuals. And it's frustrating to hear. On one hand, we got grants, we got all this other money, and I think this is kind of the haze coming off of the smoke and mirrors. The reality is, if we don't have the money, we don't have the money. We should not keep on incurring more bills, more debt, and piling on to the deficit. Some meetings we come in there and say, okay, you keep on trying to scare residents with big words like deficit. Had another resident tell me, deficits are scary. That's just the reality.
Kim Foxx, the Cook County State Attorney, she's been made aware of this situation, and she's been sitting there for 2 years, allowing this to happen when she's got the authority to investigate all of this illegal activity. Kim Foxx, why are you not doing anything about this, Kim? You know all about this city girl mayor. You know about everything going on in your county. What are you waiting for? For her to completely steal everything from Dalton and Thornton? If you want to help out, email Kim Foxx. Make sure you list Dalton Mayor in the subject. I'm going to leave the information below. Ask Kim Foxx, why isn't her office investigating this woman, and why isn't she doing anything about this illegal activity? It's happening right under her nose in her own county, a place where she's a top cop. Then when you're done emailing Kim Foxx, let me know below in the comments. Listen, this is out of control and something's got to be done. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Tell me what you think about all of this. Special thank you to Jason P. I appreciate you, Jason, for all of your support, as well as Roxana. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.